When you reach a certain age, you begin to realize that the little things you once overlooked now hold the greatest importance. A young person may rush out the door without washing their hands, or kick off their shoes at night without even glancing at their feet. But for someone in their 60s, 70s, or 80s, those very habits can make the difference between sickness and health, between comfort and pain, between independence and needing someone else to care for you. I remember talking with a man named James, 74 years old, who confessed that when he was younger, he barely thought about hand washing unless he was about to eat a meal. But last year, after a simple cold turned into a more serious chest infection, he became more aware of how something as small as touching his face after handling money or groceries could set off a chain reaction. I never thought about it much before, he said, but now I realize my hands carry the whole world with them. And if I don't keep them clean, they bring the world's problems home to me. That realization may sound small, but it's not. Every doorknob you touch, every bill you exchange, every railing you hold on to while climbing stairs, all of them are highways for germs. When you're young, your body bounces back easily. But as we age, the immune system doesn't fight with the same speed it once did. A tiny germ that once caused nothing more than a sniffle can now spiral into weeks of fatigue, or worse, hospital visits. That's why hand hygiene is not just about cleanliness. It's about protection. But there's more to it than scrubbing with soap. Good hand hygiene also means caring for the skin itself. Think about how dry hands can become as the years pass. Washing too often without moisturizing can cause cracks, and cracks are open doors for infection. Susan, a retired teacher I once met, told me that after she started applying a light cream after every wash, the redness and soreness she once ignored disappeared. She said it wasn't just about health anymore. It became a small ritual, a moment of care for herself. She would rub the lotion in slowly, massaging her hands, noticing the strength still there, the veins that told the story of her years. What once felt like a chore became a quiet act of dignity. Now, let's talk about the other part of the body most people ignore until it hurts. The feet. At first thought, they may not seem nearly as important as the heart or the lungs, but for seniors, feet can be the very foundation of health. How many times have you heard of someone your age or older taking a bad fall? Very often, the reason isn't clumsiness. It's neglect of foot care. Hard skin, long nails, hidden infections, or even poorly fitting shoes can make walking painful, and when walking hurts, you move less. And the less you move, the weaker your heart and body become. I remember Nancy, a lively woman in her late 60s, who avoided social gatherings for months. When her daughter finally asked why, Nancy admitted that her toenails had thickened and grown so uncomfortable that even short walks were miserable. She felt embarrassed to go to the salon, thinking people would judge her, so she ignored the problem. But that silence cost her more than comfort. It cost her freedom to enjoy life. Eventually, after a doctor encouraged her, she sought help, had her nails trimmed properly, and treated a fungal infection she didn't even know she had. Within weeks, she was back on her feet, smiling at parties, laughing with friends. What changed? Nothing dramatic. Just feet cared for with attention instead of neglect. It's easy to laugh off foot hygiene, but small neglects can snowball into serious issues. Dry, cracked heels can bleed. Nails that dig into the skin can cause infections. A simple blister from tight shoes can take weeks to heal for someone with poor circulation. That's why seniors need to pay closer attention to their feet than they ever did in their 20s or 30s. It's not vanity, it's survival. There's also something deeply symbolic about foot care. In many cultures, washing the feet is seen as an act of respect, even love. Think of the old traditions where younger people wash the feet of their elders as a gesture of honor. Caring for your own feet can be a way of honoring yourself. It may sound strange, but soaking your feet in warm water, gently drying them, trimming your nails carefully, it's not just maintenance. It's telling yourself, I still deserve care. I still deserve comfort. George, who's 80, once told me that every Sunday evening, he sits with a small basin of warm water, adds a pinch of salt, and soaks his feet while listening to old jazz records. He says it makes him feel whole, as though he's washing away not just the dust of the day, but also the weight of age. I'm maybe slowing down, he said, but I'm still in charge of how I treat myself. His simple ritual became a reminder that aging doesn't mean neglecting the body. In fact, it means paying more attention than ever. Hands and feet. They seem so ordinary, so easy to take for granted. Yet, they are the body's constant workers. Your hands allow you to eat, dress, write, and hold the people you love. Your feet carry you to the kitchen in the morning, across the living room to your favorite chair, down the hall to your bed at night. Without them, independence fades quickly. And when independence fades, so does the joy of living. That's why these two parts of the body, often ignored, often mistreated, must be guarded carefully in older age. Washing your hands regularly and kindly, moisturizing them so they remain strong and soft. Checking your feet, trimming your nails, noticing any sores or changes before they become problems. These small steps can add years to your comfort, maybe even to your life. It's not about perfection. No one is asking you to spend hours in the bathroom or to treat hygiene like a military routine. What matters is consistency. A few minutes a day, done gently, done mindfully, can transform not only your health, but also your confidence. The world outside can sometimes feel unsafe as you age, but knowing that your hands are clean, that your feet are cared for, gives you a sense of control. It tells you, I may not be able to stop every storm, but I can keep myself steady in the rain. So the next time you wash your hands, pause. Don't rush through it. Feel the water. Breathe in the moment. Notice the care you're giving yourself. The next time you remove your shoes, glance at your feet. Give them the attention they've earned after carrying you for decades. These are not small acts. They are quiet promises you make to yourself. Promises that keep you healthy, mobile, and dignified. Because in the end, health in old age doesn't come from grand gestures or extreme efforts. It comes from respecting the ordinary. And in that respect, washing hands, caring for feet, you'll find not just protection from illness, but also a deeper appreciation for the body that has carried you this far. There is something very personal about the face. It's the first thing people notice, the part of you reflected in mirrors, photographs, and memories. For many seniors, the face carries a history of their life. Lines etched from laughter, from worry, from long nights and brighter days. But while we may accept wrinkles as part of aging, we often forget that the skin itself still needs care. Neglecting the face doesn't just make it feel tired. It can cause irritation, infections, and even health risks that go unnoticed. I once met Margaret, 72, who told me that she used to wash her face quickly with whatever soap she found by the sink. For decades, it didn't seem to matter. But as she grew older, her skin became more fragile, and she began to notice small rashes, irritation, and a constant dryness that made her uncomfortable. It wasn't until her granddaughter gifted her a gentle cleanser and explained how facial hygiene helps prevent clogged pores and infections that Margaret realized something simple. Her face deserved the same kindness she gave the rest of her body. Within weeks of adopting a gentler routine, she said she not only felt fresher, but also more confident looking in the mirror. The truth is, our faces are exposed to everything: dust, sweat, oils, and tiny particles floating in the air. When these settle on the skin and aren't washed away, they can lead to breakouts, irritation, or even minor infections. For younger people, the body may quickly repair itself, but as we age, healing slows. A small pimple can take weeks to vanish. A patch of irritation can linger. And for those with sensitive skin or conditions like diabetes, even minor issues can become complicated if ignored. But face hygiene isn't just about avoiding problems. It's also about comfort. Washing with lukewarm water, patting the skin gently instead of rubbing it, applying a soft cloth instead of something rough. These little changes make the skin feel cared for. And when you look in a mirror and see skin that feels clean, smooth, and alive, it brings a quiet joy. There's also the emotional side. George, a widower of 79, once told me that he hadn't bothered washing his face carefully since his wife passed. What does it matter? He said. But one day, before going to a small community event, he decided to take extra time: warm water, a gentle wash, even a light moisturizer. When he walked into the room, people told him he looked refreshed, almost younger. The compliments lifted his spirits. I thought I was invisible, he admitted, but suddenly I felt seen again. Sometimes The act of caring for your face is less about health and more about dignity, about reminding yourself that you are still part of the world. Now let's talk about another area often ignored but incredibly important for hygiene: the armpits. It may sound ordinary, but the armpits are one of the body's warmest, dampest places, a perfect environment for bacteria. And where bacteria live, odor follows. Many seniors worry about memory loss or mobility, but forget that personal smell can also affect independence. Body odor can cause embarrassment, discourage social interactions, and even lead to isolation. I remember a gentleman named Robert who stopped attending his weekly card games. When his friend visited, they discovered he had become self-conscious about odor because of arthritis. He found it difficult to wash under his arms thoroughly and had quietly withdrawn from social life rather than risk embarrassment. His story shows that hygiene is not only about cleanliness, it's about connection. If something as simple as washing the armpits can restore confidence, then it is no small matter. Caring for this part of the body isn't complicated, but it does require attention. Daily cleansing with gentle soap and water helps reduce bacteria and odor. Drying carefully afterward prevents irritation or fungal growth. For those who prefer, light deodorants or natural alternatives can add freshness. The point isn't to mask the body, it's to give yourself freedom. Freedom to hug, to sit close to others, to move through the day without worry. One woman, Clara, shared how her morning routine of washing her face and armpits became her way of preparing for the day, even when she had no plans to go out. She said, "It makes me feel like the day belongs to me, not to the problems of my body." That small routine gave her confidence, energy, and a sense of pride. There's also a health aspect beyond odor. Neglecting armpit hygiene can lead to clogged sweat glands, rashes, or infections. For seniors, whose skin may heal slowly, this can become painful. Something preventable can turn into weeks of discomfort simply because it was overlooked. But beyond all the practical reasons, there is something deeper about tending to your face and armpits each day. It is a declaration that you still matter, that even the most ordinary acts of care are worth doing. When you splash water on your face in the morning, you are not just washing away dust. You are waking yourself up to life again. When you cleanse under your arms, you are preparing yourself to face the world without fear or shame. Aging often brings challenges we cannot control. The body slows, the mind sometimes forgets, the world feels faster than we can keep up. But hygiene is one area where we still hold power. With a little soap, water, and intention, we can protect ourselves from illness, restore our confidence, and carry ourselves with dignity. So, whether it's a cool splash on your cheeks or the clean comfort under your arms, don't see these routines as chores. See them as gifts you give yourself daily. Because in caring for your body, especially these small, often ignored areas, you are telling yourself, I still matter. My health still matters. My presence in this world still matters. There are places on the body that we rarely think about, places so small and hidden that we hardly give them a second thought. The belly button is one of them. For most of us, it's just a quiet mark in the middle of our stomach, a reminder where life began, where our connection to our mothers once existed. Yet, despite its quietness, it plays an unexpected role in our health. Many people don't realize that this tiny hollow, if left neglected, can become a trap for sweat, dirt, oils, and bacteria. And over time, it can lead to irritation, odor, or even infection. I once spoke with Nancy, a 70-year-old grandmother who admitted she had never paid much attention to her belly button. She would shower daily, of course, but like so many others, she assumed that water and soap running over her stomach was enough. Then one day, she began to notice an odd smell. At first, she thought it must be from her clothes or perhaps her laundry detergent. But as the days passed, the odor grew stronger. Finally, embarrassed and concerned, she checked more closely and discovered redness and tenderness inside her belly button. A visit to her doctor confirmed it was a bacterial infection. She was given medication, and after a few weeks of daily cleaning, the problem cleared. Looking back, Nancy said she felt surprised that something so small, something she had ignored her whole life, could cause so much discomfort. It made me realize, she told me, that no part of the body is too small to deserve care. Her story is more common than you'd think. The belly button is often forgotten because it doesn't demand attention, unlike your hands, which you use constantly, or your face, which you see in the mirror each day. The belly button sits quietly, hidden in plain sight. But this quietness is deceptive. In reality, it is a little pocket where sweat, dead skin cells, and natural oils collect. Left unwashed, it becomes a perfect place for bacteria and yeast to thrive. This is particularly important for seniors. As we age, our skin changes. It becomes thinner, more delicate, and slower to heal. A small irritation that might once have disappeared overnight can linger for weeks. An infection that the body might have fought off easily in youth can become stubborn and painful. And for those managing conditions like diabetes, infections anywhere on the skin can be especially risky. That's why something as simple as belly button hygiene should not be dismissed as unimportant. I recall another story, this time of Edward, a retired carpenter in his late 70s. Edward had always taken pride in his appearance. His hands were always washed, his face clean, his clothes neat. But when he started feeling discomfort around his stomach, he ignored it, assuming it was just age catching up. Over time, the discomfort became pain, and eventually his daughter convinced him to see a doctor. The cause turned out to be a fungal infection that had spread from his belly button outward. It shocked him. He never thought that little spot could cause such a problem. After proper treatment and learning how to gently clean and dry the area daily, Edward was fine, but he admitted that the experience humbled him. "I thought I knew my body," he said, "but it turns out I've been overlooking one of the simplest things." The truth is, caring for your belly button isn't complicated. A soft cloth or a cotton swab with warm, soapy water is enough. The important thing is consistency. Just as you brush your teeth daily or wash your hands, tending to this small area should become part of your regular hygiene routine. And just as important as cleaning is drying. Moisture is the enemy here, because dampness allows bacteria and fungi to grow more quickly. By making sure the belly button is dry, you remove the environment where these organisms thrive. There is also an emotional side to this. For many seniors, hygiene routines can sometimes feel like chores. But if you shift your perspective, they can instead become rituals of self-care, small moments where you remind yourself that your body still matters. Taking care of your belly button may feel like a tiny act, but it represents something larger, an intention to treat your whole body with respect, even the parts that no one else sees. One woman I met, Helen, put it beautifully. She said, "When I started paying attention to the little things, my feet, my armpits, my belly button, it wasn't just about staying clean. It was about telling myself that I deserve care, even in the hidden places." That shift in mindset gave her confidence, even joy. What once felt like routine became almost meditative, a way of staying connected to her body. And that's something worth remembering. Hygiene is not just physical. It's deeply connected to emotional well-being. Imagine waking up each morning knowing that you've done the little things that keep illness away. Imagine greeting the world without worry about odor or discomfort. Imagine feeling at ease in your own skin because you've cared for it properly. These are not small victories. They are the foundations of dignity and independence as we age. So often, people think that longevity is only about grand gestures, strict diets, intense exercise, expensive supplements. But the truth is, it's also about the quiet, consistent habits. Washing your hands thoroughly, cleaning your feet, gently tending to your face, caring for your armpits, and yes, even paying attention to that small hollow at the center of your stomach. Each act may seem small, almost insignificant, but together they build resilience. They reduce infection, improve circulation, protect your immune system, and preserve your comfort. And perhaps most importantly, these habits tell your mind and spirit that you still belong in the world with confidence. You are not invisible. You are not forgotten. When you care for your body in these small ways, you remind yourself daily that you still have value, that you are worth the effort, and that you deserve health and comfort no matter your age. So the next time you step into the shower or stand before the mirror, pause for just a moment. Remember that your health is shaped not only by what you eat or how much you move, but also by the attention you give to these hidden, overlooked parts of yourself. And when you gently clean your belly button, don't think of it as a chore. Think of it as a symbol, a small but powerful act of love toward your body, the very vessel that has carried you through all the years of your life.